Now, moving on to ODI cricket. Let me start with you, Ricardo. Are you satisfied with what you're seeing with in terms of ODI cricket? We just didn't make it to the World Cup. We're not going to be a part of the 2025 championship trophy. So there's not a lot of emphasis on ODI. So we have what, 12 ODIs here. Satisfied with what you're seeing, Ricardo?
Not satisfied, but I guess we could say somewhat deserving based on what happened leading up to the World Cup. Um, we didn't do ourselves any favors by, first of all, not qualifying for the World Cup. We would have gotten some attention in that series against England, but I don't think that would have affected this year as it relates to the fixtures. But hopefully, we will snatch a couple in Australia. I think we can match up to Sri Lanka in one day cricket, albeit it's gonna be, in Sri Lanka, Asian conditions, and we know how we are in those conditions, especially when we come up against good spinners, or good slow bowlers. Um, England in the Caribbean, Bangladesh in the Caribbean as well. I'm expecting us out of those 6 ODIs in the Caribbean. I think we can take at least 4 of those. So I am hoping that based on what we do in 2024, that 2025 will be, a better outlook for us as it relates to getting some, a good number of ODIs in 2025 against top teams around the world.
And I think the problem though is even if we have a good 2024 year, as some of the British commentators would be saying, playing West Indies, where West Indies is not going to be a part of the championship trophy, they might not necessarily want to do that, given that, they want to play teams that will assist them in, getting ready for the competition. Whereas we're not going to be a part of the tournament. So playing a West Indies, is it going to be sufficient practice to getting them ready for Champions Trophy?
But I think if we manage to win most of these games in 2024, I don't think countries are going to look at us as, good for their practice or warm up. Reason being, we have some of the best white ball cricketers in the game, no doubt about that. So if we can put all of that together and play as a team, compete as a team, we're seeing some positive signs. Not just in the results recently, but also we see, we know the impact that Darren Sammy can have. And I think his positive approach to cricket and his mentality, his winning mentality, I believe that will run through the camp, and I expect us to be playing some good cricket, and we are going to get some attention from these top countries, despite what the English are saying. We know they are all talk sometimes, so we leave them to that.
All right, so out of these 12 ODIs, I want you to give us your prediction in terms of how many series you see us winning and possible, how many games you're expecting us to win for this year, 2024.
Out of the 12, I can see us winning at least 7. I'm hoping for, about 8, 9. And with that number, I think we should win at least 2 of those series. 2 of those series. Could be 3.
Definitely. All right, Davion, over to you now. In terms of your expectations for 2024 ODI cricket, how many of these series you see us winning and how many matches?
All right. So based on these fixtures, I see us winning 2. I expect us to win the England series again at home. Also the Bangladesh at home as well. I expect us to lose to Sri Lanka, Australia. So I see us winning 6 and losing 6. But
So
I
you're
think
saying we're gonna lose all three to Australia and all
well,
three to Sri
well,
Lanka.
right. Wait. We do the match. Yeah, do the match again. 2 against Bangladesh, 2 against England, 1 against Sri Lanka, and 1 against
Oh,
Australia.
okay. You're saying we
Right.
win. Okay,
So all
okay.
the results will be 2-1. So the one at home will be 2-1 in our favor. The one away will be 2-1 in opponent favor. Yeah,
Okay.
that is what I predict.
All right, fair assessment. Fair assessment. All right, now in terms of let's first look at what we did in 2023. So if we look at it, we won 10 ODI matches out of 19. So that's over 50%. And so I think Ricardo's assessment closer to the win percentage, staying above 50 with 7, 8 wins. In terms of losses, just below 50%. So that would be marginal improvement. If we do according to you, Davian, then we wouldn't improve. If we win 6, lose 6, that's not improving. That's regressing from 2023, but no problem. So my question to you now, Davian, is who do you see that will be the standout batter in 2023, apart from Shea Hope? So exclude Shea Hope. We have to get that out the way.
Right. I see Alec Altanez being the standout batter for ODI this year. We have seen in the ODI series against England, the 2 games where he scored some runs, we see where the results was positive in our favor. So I'm keeping a close eye Alec Altanez as the opening batter for ODI this year.
All right. Over to you, Ricardo. Standout batter for you.
I'm looking to Brandon King. Yeah, I think this is going to be his year. I've been seeing the signs for a couple of years now. I just think he's going to get it together this year. He's gonna be more mature. I think he now understands that he is a mainstay in this West Indies white ball setup. I think he's confident that he will be selected, and I think he's going to go there and play with that, that free mindset. He's not necessarily playing for his spot anymore. So I think he's gonna be free, and I expect us to see the best of Brandon King this year.
All right.
If we're excluding Shea Hope, I'm looking to Brandon King to be the standout.
Yes. I'm just gonna throw in a name out there. I think he's gonna go under the radar, but I think Sherfin Rutherford is gonna have a very explosive year. Given ODIs to be played in Sri Lanka, nice batting surfaces over. Well, it depends on which pitch we're playing on, which stadium. But I think Sherfin Rutherford in Australia and in the Caribbean, I think he's gonna have a good ODI year. That's another cheeky comment. All right, now in terms of bowling, Ricardo, we saw last year only 3 bowlers managed to get 10 wickets or more, which is it's hard to believe in terms of strike bowlers in the Caribbean. Alzari also had about 10 catches dropped off his bowling in World Cup qualifiers and other ODI games. So that could have easily been 30 for Alzari. But apart from Alzari, Joseph, any concerns with our bowling for 2024? What are some changes you like to see, Ricardo, in terms of our bowling group? Get it together and be more effective in terms of wicket taking.
We saw in the England series where it wasn't so impressive in the power play. Getting early wickets, keeping the opponents to reasonable scores or scores in our favor after the power play. I think that was an issue. Hopefully we can fix that. The combination that we use at the top is going to be important. I am still thinking about who I would want to see up there. I was impressed with Romario Shepherd and his development over the period 2023. I think that his maturity and his improvement was, it was noticeable. And I think that he can be someone who we can look to in white ball cricket, both ODI and the T20. So I'm looking for Shepherd to have a good year with the ball. Akil Hussain will be Akil Hussain. He's going to get in those overs, get his breakthroughs and so on, have a decent strike rate and economy rate. We know that about him. He has done this all over the world in T20s and ODI cricket. So we expect that from him. But Romario Shepherd is the man that I am looking to, and I am hoping that he's the one who can, get us off to a good start in ODI cricket this year.
I'm glad you brought up that point with Akil Hussain. He said Akil will always be Akil doing Akil stuff. However, in the last ODI series against England, Akil was not selected, and Yannick Carrier and Gudakesh Moti, they're the two spinners, according to our lead selector, that's ahead of Akil Hussain. So my question to you, Ricardo, is how do you then fit back Akil Hussain in ODI setup, given that it's Moti and Carrier, or Carrier?
Well, I think all three of them somewhat of a similar strength to this West Indies team. However, where I think Akil may stand out is the fact that you can throw the new ball to him. I think that's probably where he stands out. I think he's also generally more reliable with his lines and his length. I think he has more control over what he's doing, generally speaking. Moti tends to get, more out of the pitch than Akil does. So I would probably select them based on the surface that we're playing on. Yannick, on the other hand, he's a wrist spinner. And with wrist spinners, there comes some risk. So we have to consider that as well. And if it's a pitch that is going to take spin, then I would be inclined to play Yannick because wrist spinners are going to get it when it's there. But if it's just your a good batting surface, for example, and I have to choose, then I am certainly going to look to either Moti or Hussain, and I may eventually go with Hussain.
Okay, so Hussain above both, or maybe even both. It depends.
It depends.
All right, fair enough. Now, before we go to Davian, I just want, you already pointed out your praise for Romario Shepherd's improvement. So who do you think is going to be our standout ODI bowler for 2024?
Shepherd, man. Same Shepherd.
Same Shepherd.
Yes.
All right.
Shepherd.
All right. Shepherd with the big improvement for 2023. All right. So Davian, over to you now. What are your expectations from the bowling group? As you heard, Ricardo, we only had 3 bowlers last year with over 10 wickets. So Davian, what are you expecting Sammy and his group to do, James Franklin and the other members of coaching staff? What do you think they can do now to get us up there again? You heard Ricardo mention power play bowling as the weakest link, right? So what are your thoughts on the bowling, on what we can do and where we need to improve to become a better bowling group? And then Davian, tell us your standout bowler for 2024, your predicted standout bowler.
All right. So in order, you have 3 phases: the power play, the mega overs, and the death overs. Mostly the bowlers we use, they're very good in the mega overs. However, they lack the ability to take power play wickets. The one bowler I see really took wickets in the power play when we did was really Akil Hussain. So with that said, I'd really partner Akil Hussain with Matthew Ford.
Matthew Ford in Australia and Sri Lanka.
Right. He has the ability. There'll be some seam and swing up front. So I would chance him giving 1-2 overs to Matthew Ford and Akil Hussain up front. And then bring in Ramora Shepard and Azari Joseph. Even though Azari Joseph was a best bowler for the year, he bowls a lot of boundary deliveries, and I think he does better when there's protection on the boundary. At one point, I think they played O'Shane Thomas, Azari Joseph, Romero Shepard. These bowlers are not really genuine new ball bowlers. So I think looking back at the competition, I think they need to look at bowlers who can bowl in the power play, mega overs, and also depth. But for the stand-up bowler, I'm looking to Matthew Ford. I think if he increases his pace when there's not swing and seam, he'll be able to bowl deliveries that can be threatening as well.
All right, so viewers, you heard it. Matthew Ford. Matthew Ford. Look out for Matthew Ford in Australia and Sri Lanka. You know, if he ups his pace, Davian said it, he's going to be our standout bowler for 2024.